In this video, we'll continue with job setup. We'll finish the left spindle, the tool plane origin Z, and the stick out amount. And then we'll do the right spindle. We'll talk about the bar stock, which you don't see there, chuck jaws, tool plane origin Z, and the pick off. The tool plane origin Z will default to the face of the part. This is the position where the work offset will be calculated from. Normally, you will leave it where it is, but you can see that we can manually move it if necessary. Our work offset number works like regular Mastercam. A work offset number 0 is a G54, a 1 is a G55, and so on. Our part stickout defines how far the face of the part is sticking out from the face of the chuck. It also references the distance to the jaws. I will use the reference point button to pick a point on the part to adjust it to the face of the chuck jaws. To get a better look at what just happened, I'll use the preview lathe boundaries with the view set to top. You can see that it looks like the geometry I picked snapped to the face of the chuck jaws. In actuality, Mastercam actually snaps the machine to the part. Positioning the stock as close to the spindle as possible minimizes overhang and will give us a rigid setup for machining on the main spindle. I need to stick it out far enough to have some safety distance, so I will add 15 millimeters to our current value and set the distance to the chuck face to 195. We can see that our distance to the jaws is updated to 141. Next, we need to set the parameters for the right spindle. We're not seeing any bar stock on the right spindle. That's because we chose continuous bar stock, pick off, stock pull, cut off. Back up in setup, we selected here. If I had selected something different, I might have some different options down here. Or and you can see that manually defined right spindle stock got checked in there. If I uncheck that, the bar stock goes away. So I just wanted to show you how the previous selections we make affect downstream options. So on the right spindle chuck jaws, we have a few more options here. You can see the different methods that we can use to clamp on our part. We're going to stay with OD1. This would be if we want to try and time the spindle to the main spindle, if we had to pick up on a shape or something to that effect. Our default parameters for the right spindle chuck will work fine. We could define them if necessary. Tool plane origin Z, very similar to the left spindle. It's going to be on the left face of the part in the right spindle. Again, we could change it if we needed to manually. And our work offset number is 1, G55. Typically it's 1. And pick off, we'll pick where the right spindle will clamp on the part in the left spindle. So I have a select pick off Z position. I'll use this target, and I want to pick up very close to here. It's 142. I want to move it a little bit further away. As you can see, our distance is from the face of the chuck. So in this case, I want to move another millimeter away. So we'll say 143. We'll stay 1 millimeter away from this intersection here. And finally, we need to give the job setup some information about the tool we'll be using in our cutoff op. Because the width of the cutoff is used when calculating NC positions, it's important that the value recorded here is the same as the tool used in the part handling op we will be creating later. I have two options here. It defaults to the use cutoff tool from cutoff operation. This will work fine if we know the width of the cutoff tool we will be using in our parting op. If I was going to use a 3 millimeter width tool, I would put 3 in there. I just need to make sure that the tool I use when parting off is the same. The other option is to select a tool from the library. So if I click on this button here, it brings me out to my library. I'm going to select this right hand cutoff, insert down. If I double click, you can see that it's a right hand holder. It's insert down. It's towards the spindle. and it's 4 millimeters wide. So because I've selected this, when I come back, it shows that I've selected that cutoff tool, and it has a cutoff width of 4. This is my preferred method, is going out and selecting the tool I'll be using. So a quick reference on the left-hand side here is these are all the settings we've made as we've gone through. We've had a few changes to our some of our managers. The term profile is showing up here. We have a machine group WCS in the planes. Once we're satisfied with our settings in job setup, we can green check and allow job setup to run.